Get ready for the show, it's about to begin. Pro fan talk when we dive right in. Sports talk, hot takes, ain't nothing we lack. We the real fans, nothing holding us back. Mic check, 1, 2, y'all know the drill. We bringing the energy, we keep it real. From touchdowns on liquid air on the slam dunks on the court. Every sport, every game, we holding down the fort. We breaking down the plays, dissecting the stats. Pro fan talk, we keeping it fat. Debating with passion, no filter, no doubt. We the voice of the fans, we scream and we shout.
There we go. What's going on, y'all? Oh, we still need more light. Let me do it this way. I don't feel like standing up. That'll work. That's good enough. What's going on, good people? What's going on? I see my meters moving. No mutes. Sound is coming through. Everybody give me the mic check 1, 2. Give me the thumbs up. Make sure everything is good. I can hear you. You can hear me. And we can get it started. What's going on this Thursday evening? If you are in the Philadelphia area, you know this is the Thursday evening before the storm. This is going to be like the storm of the decade. What's going on? Everybody in the building. Chris Bruce, Chris 3K, Kevin the PRF, Philly Joker, 63 Mortis. Everybody. Ty Baby in the building. What's going on? What's going on? Miss Ash. I see you. Appreciating everybody coming in. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Well, we really don't have a lot of stuff to talk about. We just got one big elephant in the room to talk about, and everybody's a little bit. We don't have an offensive coordinator yet, but I was thinking about it today, and I've come to the. We're gonna get who we get. It's not gonna be who we wanted because those candidates are gone. So it's gonna seem like we settled on ... And regardless of who we hired, it wouldn't have mattered if we would have got Daboll. It wouldn't have mattered if we got Mike McDaniel. Anybody. There's always going to be a contingency of people who are not going to be happy, period. And that's for anything, let alone what we do here in Philly. Somebody always going to have something to say. But the more I thought about it, and I was like really, I don't know. I just kept, like, damn, Daboll is gone. McDaniel's gone. He's in San Diego. And then you go down the list, and I'm like, wait a minute. Just like pump the brakes a little bit. It doesn't matter who we get. The only thing that matters is if said person is better than Kevin Patullo. And I don't think that's That's hard to do. In my opinion, you got a couple of variables. The biggest one being, is A.J. Brown going to be here? I think whether or not he is here is based on, one, who the offensive coordinator is and what kind of talk he's talking about his system. And number two, if Howie can get a good deal for him and come up off some of that cap money. Now, if he can find a way to make it work and all parties end up winning, Howie Roseman will pull that trigger. He will play that card. And A.J. Brown will be up out of here. And y'all know my feelings on that. I do not want A.J. Brown to leave. Period. I do not. I think his unhappiness is a little bit overblown. Yes, he is unhappy, but is he unhappy to the point where he got to leave and this, that, and the third? I sincerely doubt it. To me, that's the media taking what they've seen and going to the nth degree, going from 0 to 100, because that's what they do. They don't know the conversations they had. They don't know if him and Sirianni has talked, and none of that. They could be right. They could be 100% right, but we don't know that. Like I said yesterday, everybody's guessing. Don't nobody know Jack. They just giving their opinion. It just so happens that their volume on their microphone is just a little bit louder than mine. But they guessing too. Until Adam Schefter or Ian Rappaport or Tom Pelissero, until they get a call from one of the teams, they guessing just like everybody else. Don't get it twisted. They don't know more or less than anybody else. That is leaked information. According to my sources. If you want something out and well known, go to Schefter, go to Pelissero, go to Ian Rappaport. Those are the guys. Diana Rossini don't know nothing. She guessing like everybody else. The reason why Diana Rossini ain't stupid. The reason why she says some of the things that she says, whether or not she believes them or not, she gonna get the traffic. Because now everybody's looking at her like, oh, what's she gonna say now? She hate Philly. And then it don't matter. It don't matter. This is for the if her opinion aligns with something that activates the Philadelphia fandom, she wins. And I've said this before. Sometimes I think some of these dudes, they'll take a stance against Philly or Negadelphia or however you want to call it. They'll take a stance against Philadelphia because they'll know it'll bring traffic. I said this before. If you are making content, if you on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever it is, do this one time, because I've done a lot of mileage on a post or a tweet or a video that you did on TikTok or something like that. Or say something wrong on purpose. Watch how many people come out of the woodwork to correct you. I've done this. Say something wrong. I've said something wrong on purpose. And the people come out of the woodwork because everybody wants to tell you you're wrong. I've said a million things. I've put out a million posts and pictures and images and animations and things of that nature where I've done my homework and went through and the thing. If you say something wrong, they coming at you in the thousands. That's the era that we in right now. They don't appreciate homework. They don't appreciate experience. They just want somebody with the loudest voice, and they want somebody to yell just like you yelling. I figured it out. I just don't roll that way. I'm y'all know me. I want to keep it 100. If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. I'm not trying to act like I'm the smartest guy in the room. And you know my philosophy on that anyways. If you find yourself and you the smartest person in the room, Find a new room. So I'm always looking for people to check me and let me know I'm doing right, wrong, or indifferent. That's the way it should be. But everybody wants to argue. Everybody wants to tell you you're wrong. So I say all that to say they don't know what they talking about. They guessing like everybody else. I can't even say it's an educated guess. They don't have more or less information. They might get the breaking news before we do because Schefter just happens to be on their set. But now they've even made that a thing. Adam Schefter's getting news while he's on the show. Don't take it off of him. Let us keep the camera on him so we can watch him walk off camera and take a phone call or answer a tweet so he can come back and give us breaking news. That's what they do now. That's what they do now. That's what they always been doing, but now they just want to show it. Like, oh, how he gonna come back with some breaking news? And it's like, wow, this is where we are now. Now it happens with everybody. It happens with Schefter, it happens with Palacero, and it happens with Ian Rappaport. I've seen all three of them do that. They on the show, they're checking their phone. Hold on for a second. I'll get right back with you. They walk off camera, and then they come right back with the breaking news. And guess what? Everybody that's watching ain't moving. They ain't gonna budge. They ain't gonna take a drink. They ain't gonna go to the bathroom. They gonna burn their food that's left on the stove. They ain't moving until they get that information. That's the game. That's the game. So they don't know more or less than we know. They microphone is just a little bit louder, man. So Lil Griffith, I hope you're right, bro. I hope the Eagles keep AJ Brown. I want them to. I want them to, for the simple fact that you just do not let that type of production go without a backup plan. What's your plan B? Is your plan B Jahan Dotson? That's your plan B? If it is, listen, I'm okay with that if that's what it is. But you better be right. You better be right. I have no problem you trying to stick Jahan Dotson in there. I know he can play. He's proven to me he can play. But everybody wants to say, okay, we got a number one pick that's still here. Has he ever played up to his potential? Has he played up to his draft status? AJ Brown has. Jahan Dotson, not so much. He's been good, not necessarily great. AJ Brown has been great this past season withstanding. He's been great. And here's something that we also have to think about, and we have to keep this in mind. Whoever we bring in, whoever the coordinator is, all of that kind of stuff, you know, our standard is the Super Bowl now. I keep hearing the same pattern from the media. Is coaching Jalen Hurts the problem? No. He's not the problem. If you can't adjust your coaching, because, and here again, we talking about going to the style points. Everybody wants the style points. They want that quarterback to throw for 1,000,000 yards and all of that type of stuff. And it's like, that don't work. And we've shown that it doesn't work. Josh Allen has shown that it doesn't work. Joey Burrow has shown that it doesn't work. Patrick Mahomes has shown it doesn't work. You have that every now and then. But in the big scheme of things, that doesn't work. Defense is still going to bring it home. If you can't score, you can't win. So everybody still wants those style points. And what that does is, it'll be interesting. Brian Daboll, he's in Buffalo now, stayed in New York. But now he's got a quarterback, he's got a running back, and he don't have none of the pressure because he's an OC, not a head coach. So his neck ain't on the line. So now everybody's looking at Josh Allen. Does he go down? Or is he better than he was this year? But it's not like he wasn't good this year. It's just that Everybody's finally realizing his faults. His warts are showing. It's like showing up for picture day in high school and all of a sudden your face breaks out. Everybody sees his warts. The people that knew they were there are now, they looking at you like, what y'all been looking at? It was there the whole time. It was there the first 2 years when Buffalo thought he was a bust. And it wasn't until his third year that he actually started looking like a real quarterback. They was ready to throw him out. And here we are, 9 years later? And I will bring it up every time I get a chance to bring it up. That guy that we drafted in the second round to be a backup that ended up being a starter because everybody that talks about him talks about as soon as he came into camp, they knew he was special. Even though they said his brand of football doesn't win, even though they said his brand of football can't be franchised, even though they said his brand of football can't win you a championship, and that's what it's ultimately about. Let's be honest with the situation. They said the same things about Jalen Hurts that they used to say about Tim Tebow. He's a great athlete, but that guy is not going to win you a championship. They said the same thing about Jalen Hurts that they said about Tim Tebow. And guess what? He's been to the Super Bowl twice. After he lost the first one, even though he outplayed Patrick Mahomes, and they told us how difficult it was to go back and get to another one. He got back to another one and won it. And then when they tried to say the only reason he made it to the Super Bowl was because Saquon carried him, and then we get to the Super Bowl, and then Spagnuolo shuts down Saquon Barkley, holds him to under 50 yards, and how do we beat him? We beat him in the air, and we beat him with his legs. And by the way, thanks defense, pick six, sacks. But they told us he would never win the way he plays football. He doesn't throw the ball well enough. Okay. Y'all keep believing that. And every time one of these big arm quarterbacks gets a chance to show what they're worth, it doesn't matter. I would even go so far as to say, I remember when Nick Foles won the Super Bowl. Nick Foles was the MVP, rightfully so. But you could argue that the MVP could have went to the running back. What's the name? What's the running back we had that year? South Jersey boy. What's his name? Why am I blanking on his name? From right here in South Jersey. He could have been the MVP that year. So somebody's going to put it in the chat. I know. I'm going to look it up because it's bugging me right now. Not Sproles. Corey Clement. Thank you. Corey Clement right here from South Jersey. Corey Clement had a hell of a game. He had a hell of a game. And then Corey Clement, 4 receptions, 100 yards, and a touchdown. I don't even know. It doesn't even tell me. Hold on. Here we go. His Super Bowl stats. Corey Clement's career stats in the Super Bowl. He only won Super Bowl. Dang. They're going to make it hard to find this. Yeah, we going out like that. He had a good game. I can't find his exact stats. Trying to find them, but they showing me everything but what I'm looking for. But he was still a big factor. And I just remember, you could have argued that he could have been MVP of the game, but Nick Foles did what he did. I'm not arguing that. But my point is, he had a running back. And you can't just win it by yourself. Isn't it funny how some people consider Tom Brady the GOAT? And some people, when Tom Brady had arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL, he still couldn't win the Super Bowl. When Tom Brady had Randy Moss, that was the only year I was rooting for the Patriots to win. Because number one, I wanted to see the Patriots go undefeated. And number two, I wanted to see Randy Moss get a ring. And they couldn't do it. They could not do it. As good as Tom Brady was and as good as Randy Moss was, they couldn't do it. And again, that goes back to the thing I've been saying for the past 3 weeks. It is supremely difficult to win a Super Bowl. I don't care who you have on your team. Anybody can get got. And the Patriots was whooping everybody's ass that year until it came to the game that really mattered. I believe, wasn't that the year that the Giants' first Super Bowl? Wasn't that the one with the lucky catch on the head? I can't remember. So it's been proven that you don't have to have the golden arm and you don't have to throw for 1,000 yards because there's always going to be too many factors. Always going to be too many factors. So they can say what they want to say. And that goes back to the original point. What do we need? What kind of offensive coordinator do we need? We need an offensive coordinator that's going to be better than what Kevin Patullo was. What's up, Carlos? Hope you got your salt and your shovel together. That was the Tyree catch. Yeah, the David Tyree catch. Yeah. But I mean, all I need is, it doesn't matter who the coordinator is. Because guess what? All you got to do is go back and watch the tape from last year, which they are going to do. And if Sirianni has any wherewithal in him as a head coach, all he has to do is go back in them situations, go back and play them halves of football where we couldn't do jack shit. Play them halves of football and say, pause. What would you do in this situation? What would you call in this situation? Because what that does is that's going to do two things. That's going to do two things. Number one, it's going to get him familiar with what we were doing right, what we were doing wrong, and what not to do. Number two, it's going to give him a good look to see what Jalen can do and what Jalen should be doing, and then what he should be doing as a coordinator. You don't have to have a ton of experience to do that. That should be standard. That should be a prerequisite. You got to look at what happened. You got to look at to recognize the mistakes. Just like we watch film. When I was playing, we would watch film and we would say, okay, this is the defense they play. This is what we want to do. Let's go back and look at week 4 when they played Chicago. Chicago did this. We run an offense we run some plays similar to Chicago. We can run this play. Put that on the list. Let's see what they did against Kansas City. We run this play that's similar, but what we're going to do is run the out route instead of running the streak because this DB is not good, coming out of a break. So you study the film, you study your personnel, you pinpoint the weaknesses, and you go at it. The same way everybody this year would look at us and say, hey, if number 7 is on the field, we are throwing to number 7, Keely Ringo. Every time he's on the field, go at him, go at him, go at him. If Adoree Jackson is in, let's go at him first. He's been a little bit better, but that's still the weakness. That's not hard to figure out. I expect him to look at the film and say, how come we ain't go to A.J. Brown in this situation? How come we run a quick slants? How come we not screening? Do you want to go on motion? Do we need to run more under center? Like, what do we need to do? We got to get somebody to answer those questions because, in my opinion, the coordinator, as far as schemes, does not have a hard job to do. Does not have a hard job. You don't have to be an old grizzled veteran to have what they like to say superior route concepts and all that kind of stuff, elite concepts and complicated route trees and stuff like that. We should not have a problem running those plays. Jalen has run them before. He's been successful at it. Why can't we run it again? And for all of the Jalen Hurts haters, the other part about this is, and this is where I got to keep it real, because you know I like Jalen Hurts. I am on team Jalen Hurts. However, if this exposes Jalen Hurts and really shows what his inadequacies are, and it's hurting us as an offense, we need to see that. Because just like Howie Roseman was ready to move on from Carson Wentz, we might have to do the same thing with Jalen Hurts. That's not saying I'm hating on Jalen Hurts. That is a realistic possibility because that is the nature of this game. Every year you fighting for your job. I don't care if you have a contract or not. You know how many close calls we've had with Jalen Hurts? If he zig left and zig lag, could have got another concussion, could have tore something. We've been very lucky in that regard. Jalen Hurts has never really torn anything. Knock wood. He had that one concussion that kept him out a couple games. But nothing major. Then you look at somebody like Jaden Daniels. You look at somebody like Lamar Jackson. You look at Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes, there's no guarantee Patrick Mahomes is going to play next year. Because people like him is probably going to rush the process and he's going to end up like RG3. You got to take your time. And waiting is one of the hardest things to do, especially if your team getting drugged. So all we need is a coordinator that knows what he wants to do. Because this year, more than any other year in Sirianni's tenure here with the Eagles, this year, automatically, he's going to be on the hot seat. Because if he's not getting it done, if the offense is not moving the ball, it's going to be him. It's going to be on him. So if somebody wants to come in with autonomy and take over the offense and all of that kind of stuff, so be it. Do I want another offensive coordinator coming in and Jalen Hurts learning another system, another year, all of that type of stuff? Because I hope not. I hope we can do like Kellen Moore. And I can't even say Kellen Moore. I'm saying Kellen Moore, obviously, because we went to the Super Bowl. But if y'all remember, for the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season, Kellen Moore wasn't getting it done. He was not getting it done. It wasn't until week 5, after the offensive lineman went to Kellen Moore and Nick Sirianni and said, hey, let's start running the ball. Y'all bullshit. And that's what happened. But I guess my question is, why couldn't they figure that out? Why couldn't Kellen Moore figure that out? That's the hubris and the ego of these coaches. They want to do it their way, and they want them style points. They want the offense that throws for 4,800 yards in the season. It don't matter. You can throw for that many yards. This is going to get you in the playoffs. This is going to help you out. Yeah, we was on a struggle bus early. Same stuff. Same stuff. Yep. Folks was calling for him to get fired. It was not fired, but it was like we were shaking our heads like, oh, here we go again. And the first thing they want to bring up is he was trying that bullshit he was doing in Dallas. That wasn't working. But, you know, that year he had with Dak was 4 years ago or however long it was. And it was like everybody, wasn't nobody happy. Wasn't nobody happy. So I just want to look up some stats real quick. So we got two games tomorrow, right? Or Saturday. All right. So we in the final four. We got Patriots and Broncos, the Rams, and the Seahawks. Right? So let's look at this. Let's turn this off. Let's look at this. So let's look at the Patriots stats. Patriots, 4,300 yards passing. Now let's see. Patriots. Denver, Bo Nix, 3,900 yards. All right. So now we got didn't break 4,000 yards. So no, he's not throwing the ball all over the place. He's a second-year quarterback. He's gonna take his lumps, and he has. But he's come out on the other side. And then we got the Rams and Seattle. So Seattle, Sam Darnold has been pretty damn good. Barely cracked 4,048 yards. So he wasn't lighting it up. If you lighten it up, you had like 4,500 plus. But he wasn't lighting it up. And then finally, you got the Rams. Now, I think Stafford, well, let's see. I don't want to think. I can right there. Stafford was lighting it up. 4,700 yards. 4,707 yards. 46 touchdowns, 8 picks. So Stafford was the only one that was lighting it up. Everybody else, modest, good, not great. But it goes into the team game. So that just lets you know. Like, it doesn't take the golden arm. Doesn't take the golden arm. Yeah. Chris, you ain't right. You ain't wrong, bro. You ain't wrong. You are not wrong. A.J. Brown and Smitty had one catch. But if you go back and look at that game, is that on Jalen or is that on the scheme? Now, usually in games like that, it's a little bit of both because Jalen probably missed some throws. But missing throws happens in every game. I could go down the road, go look at Matthew Stafford's games, and I could probably pinpoint a lot of plays that he missed some throws. Didn't see a guy, overthrew him, bad throw, all of that type of stuff. Everybody goes through that. Everybody gets a turn with that. But how many times were we out schemed? How many times was Jalen Hurts dropping back, looking, coverage sack, or he had to scroll out to his right and ends up throwing the ball out of bounds, or trying to do the same thing he always does, get A.J. Brown coming back to the ball on the sidelines and try to hit him going out of bounds. Sometimes it worked. Most of the times it didn't this year because everybody's seen it. So how come we never did throw across the middle? But these are questions we have been asking the whole season. The whole season. Why can't we do this? Why can't we do that? How do we have a great first half and a horrible, 21 yards passing in the second half? No touchdown. How did that happen? Those are the questions that I'm looking at Patullo and it's like, how come we couldn't figure this out? How come we don't have bread and butter plays? What happens when everybody knew that A.J. Brown was about to get a quick slant and they still couldn't stop it? How come we couldn't do that no more? We could not do that anymore. We didn't know what was going on with our offensive line. Saquon Barkley is moving and shaking, making folks miss, spinning out of tackles just to get back to the line of scrimmage. Tank Bigsby, every time that man gets a good run, he's bouncing it outside because running inside the tackles is just not good. Not good for business at all. So we need a offensive coordinator that can see the obvious. These are not complicated issues, in my opinion. It's not a complicated issue. And I'm saying it like that, not because I'm trying to blow it off like it's something easy to do. It's the NFL. Everybody's good. But if we did it the year before and we got most of the same people back, what's the problem? So we got to be able to figure that out. Is it Matt Nagy? Is it Cliff Kingsbury? Is it, what's his name, Munkins? Whoever it is, it does, to me right now, it doesn't matter. And I think the fact that trying to get a big name or the most popular pick is useless for us. To me, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If we hire somebody else and they are worse than Patullo, then Sirianni and that dude will be fired before the season is over with. And that's why I think Nick Sirianni is taking his time and getting who he wants to get. Maybe it's not, giving somebody autonomy over the offense. That's great. Whose offense? Whose offense? Johnny Wilson loss was big. I think he was going to have a breakout season. Jalen's more comfortable throwing down the middle at a big target. I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that. I still don't think we threw the Dallas Goedert across the middle enough. I just don't think we did it. And there's ways where you can scheme somebody open across the middle. And especially against the linebackers they had in San Francisco. You mean we couldn't get one over on Kaiser White? Really? Really? We couldn't get one over on him in the deep middle? So, and it can be done because we've done it before. We've done it before. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. So we're going to see. We're going to see what we get next year. We're going to see next year. Johnny Wilson can catch. But in my estimation, I don't need Johnny Wilson to be Antonio Gates. I need a blocking tight end. That's what I need. Johnny Wilson comes into play. If we in the end zone, this is what I tell people. I said the same thing with J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. When you got somebody that big and that strong, and don't get it twisted, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside was an athlete. He was 6'3". Both of his parents was Olympic athletes. Like, he had skills. He just did not have the mental dog in him. But even when you're dealing with people like that, this is what I say. Get him in the corner of the end zone, throw the ball, and tell him to go up and dunk with two hands. You 6'3" and can jump like that. You jump over the 5'10", 5'11" foot DB. You got the advantage in the situation like that. Go up and get it. Now, if he can't catch those, because those would be the only balls he gets. Maybe Daboll wasn't the right fit for the Eagles. But I'm tired of people saying that maybe they just didn't want the Eagles job. Maybe they didn't, and that's okay. The job isn't appealing for him. Well, if maybe he wanted to coach with Harbaugh in Buffalo, maybe, and I've been saying this, maybe Mike McDaniels wanted to go back out west, where his wife is at home. That's where his wife is from, California. So now you get to coach with Harbaugh and you get Justin Herbert. You get all of the style points you want. You get the big quarterback with the golden arm. And here's where the hubris and the ego comes into play. Now I get to be the guy that takes Justin Herbert to the next level. He's been underperforming since he got in the league. He's another one of them golden arm, golden boy types that they wanted so very badly for him to be the next guy. And he wasn't. He isn't. He isn't. He's not even as close. He hasn't even gotten close to the stuff that Josh Allen has done. So the coach wants to be the guy to go out there and make the quarterback do a 180. I think the biggest problem this year, and people have been saying that maybe Jalen Hurts didn't want to run as much this year. I'm like, dude, run the plays that we trying to run. You want to win? Look at what you did last year. That's how you win. Unless you're going to start throwing the ball better. Let's keep it a buck. I remember when Donovan McNabb came back to camp, bulked up, and was throwing all the balls in the dirt. Because he had put on so much muscle. And I was like, dude, why would you put on that much muscle and make yourself slower? His logic was, I got to be able to take the punishment because I want to be a drop back in the pocket quarterback. And that's exactly what he became. And one of the best to ever do it. Here's the funny part. If Mike McDaniel doesn't get to the AFC Championship in 2 years, Chargers move on from him and Harbaugh. I believe you are correct. You are correct. Because look at our situation. Once again, we've been to the mountaintop. So anybody else that took another job, did this, did that, went somewhere else. McDaniel's in San Diego. Daboll is in Buffalo. And all these other guys, going to these different places. If they don't make it to the Super Bowl, that's a failure. That's a failure. That is hard to get back. It's a shame because if we would have had any type of offensive mindset, we'd be playing this weekend in the Final Four, trying to go to the Super Bowl. We would be doing it. But you got to play on both sides of the ball, and for whatever reason, we couldn't do it. So, it happens. It happens. Yeah. Dude, what is it with these quarterbacks getting the OCs and getting these coaches fired? What is it? Sean McDermott did not need to be fired from Buffalo. That was not his fault. That was your quarterback playing like ass. And you got to take the blame for it. Josh Allen, now, in my mind, Josh Allen can't never live that down. You got two coaches fired, bro. Because of you. When Ken Dorsey got fired, he threw 3 interceptions that game before Ken Dorsey got fired. Ken Dorsey didn't coach you to throw picks. Y'all watched the same film. Y'all agreed on them plays that y'all should have been calling. And you turned the ball over. That wasn't Ken Dorsey's fault. But he got fired because of you. And now your head coach, Sean McDermott, who was a good coach, look at his record in Buffalo. He was a damn good coach. Sean McDermott, 9 seasons with the Buffalo Bills, was 98-50. He damn near got 100 wins. And if it wasn't for Josh Allen screwing up he would have been over 100 wins by now. 98-50. .500 in the playoffs, 8-8. Never made it to the Super Bowl. 5 straight AFC titles from 2020 to 2024 and 2 AFC championships, but failed to reach the Super Bowl. Failed to reach the Super Bowl. Now, you better hope you make the playoffs next year with a new coach, and you got some expectations on you. Because guess what? All this shit that y'all told us about the Eagles, y'all had the number 1 running back in the league. Y'all had a pretty good defense. Yeah. Guess what? At the end of the day, y'all was in Cancun with everybody else. Yeah, Panda, that's what I'm saying. McDermott never did anything, but my point is, the games that he lost, was that on McDermott? Or the guys, player execution failure? Player execution failure. Y'all would have been in a better situation had y'all beat us in Buffalo. But you the one couldn't throw the ball 10 yards in the end zone when you had a man wide open. You beefed that throw. That wasn't Sean McDermott's fault. That was Josh Allen. The NFL golden boy. They try to put that boy on the pedestal every chance they got. Gave him the MVP when he didn't deserve it. That should have been Lamar Jackson's 3rd MVP in a row. Period. Period. What's up, Nate Dogg? I just saw your text, bro. Appreciate you, man. So, again, going back to the original conversation, what do we really need an offensive coordinator? We just need an offensive coordinator that's competent at calling plays in live situations and can handle it. To me, in my opinion, Kevin Patullo was getting outcoached. He was losing the chess match because it was too many times where the defense knew what the hell we were doing. And when it became the talking point of all of the media outlets and all of that type of stuff, it's like, dude, that's when the problem was. And Sirianni and Patullo doing all the antics and high-fiving and hooking and all of that kind of stuff because they were so happy that they got a playoff. But they couldn't continue it because we couldn't have a whole game of creative play calling. Then they go right back into conservative shell, don't throw across the middle, trying to run the ball inside the tackles when the run blocking is trash. All of the stuff that should have been very obvious. If they watch film just like they watch more film than I do, and if I'm watching the film and I know that every time Saquon Barkley or Tank Bigsby gets the ball, they got to bounce it outside to get a big run, they should be able to figure that out. So how come you can't design a play that takes advantage of that? How come everybody else in the league can get their running backs outside but us? Inferior teams included. Everybody can run the ball outside. Even when they know it's coming, we still manage to get, I would say you should still manage to get 4 yards, even if they know the sweep is coming. And for whatever reason, we just couldn't design a good outside run. It always had to be a bounce out. It always had to be hitting it up the gut and drawing everybody in and bouncing it hard outside. I think both of Saquon's long touchdowns were like that. I know Tank Bigsby's was like that. And then that last game against the 49ers, he bounces outside when he shouldn't have. Yeah, Panda, everybody likes to panic in Philadelphia. Because now, what are they trying to do now? They're trying to figure out it's whose fault. Is this fault? No, maybe somebody wanted to go somewhere else. Maybe Philadelphia wasn't their first option. Maybe it's Daboll's lifelong dream to work with Harbaugh. I don't know. But everybody immediately, well, Diana Rossini. Well, I don't think it's a really good job. We just won the Super Bowl. We've been in the Super Bowl twice in 4 years. What's not to like about it? Still doesn't change the fact that some people might like to do other things or go other places. Mike McDaniel, the Miami still owes him like damn near $30 million. I think they owe him like 29 point something $million that they got to pay him because they fired him. They got to pay him that money. Maybe they reached a settlement. I don't know, but he's still getting a nice cut of money. So he gonna get that money. Then he gonna get the money he getting out in San Diego. He's got less headache, and his wife is at home. If you don't think that makes a difference, you crazy. You crazy. If his wife would have said, "Ooh, I really love being in Philadelphia because I love Atlantic City," he'd have been right here in Philly. Don't get it twisted. Your family makeup makes a difference. But he spent all of that time in San Francisco. That's where he's from. He from the West Coast. So why wouldn't he want to go back there with the opportunity to get a little bit more cheddar and make his wife happy? Now the wife is close to home. Everybody's happy. What's the problem? And guess what? He might get another West Coast job out there if he plays his cards right. Because you never know what's going to happen. Never know what's going to happen. So, yeah, but his wife is from California. His wife is from California. We're going to see who we're going to get. But I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it no more. I like Leffler too. But I guarantee you, if they give the job to Leffler, what is everybody going to say? They had to give it to him because they couldn't get nobody else. And it's going to be like they ripping him or something like that. And then everybody's going to be down on an inside hire. And I'm like, it doesn't, at this point, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. How many times have we seen the big name coach or a coordinator get the job, get the coordinator job, get whatever job they got, and then they're horrible for that team the next year? So Daboll and McDaniel and all these other the dude that we just lost to the Cowboys, there's no guarantee that they're gonna have the same success going down there. No guarantee at all. They hoping for the best. They are hoping for the best. Look at Jonathan Gannon. It's not easy. It's not easy. Gannon went out there to Arizona, was going to change the world. Nope. Not happening. Dayball's got the same mindset going to Buffalo. It might not happen. Who's going to take over in Baltimore? Do you understand what the shoes you got to fill? Because now you got to make it further than where you went this past season. Because you still got Lamar Jackson. You still got King Henry. You still got major players, major pieces on your board. You got to be able to use them. And there's no guarantee that whoever this head coach is going to be able to do that. Remember all the shit they was talking about Washington last year? Cliff Kingsbury and Jaden Daniels is getting better, and all of that. Look at what just happened with Houston. All of that. It is supremely difficult. There is no guarantees. I don't care who goes where. There are no guarantees that you are going to be successful. It's got to be the right people at the right place at the right time. That's exactly what we had last year. And we fell off a little bit this year. Maybe we need to stop thinking that just because somebody's in the coaching room, that moving up to coordinator is just going to be an automatic thing. It's not. It's not. I gave this example with Tone the other day. I asked Tone, I said, did you take architecture in high school? And he was like, no. And I said, I did. I took architecture. I got a mechanical design degree. I know how to draw stuff up. I said, so if they put a box of Legos in front of you and they put a box of Legos in front of me and we both got the same pieces, we both got the same makeup of blocks, I'm going to bet that my house is going to look better than your house because I got experience with design. I know how to put together a floor plan. I know how to do that. You don't. You going to build something. It's just not going to be as good as mine. That's what we dealing with all these coordinators. Then when you go to different teams, you don't know what these crazy ass owners are going to do. So what that means is, using that same analogy, now your box of bricks might be a little bit different than my box of bricks. You might be saying, "Wait, where are all my big blocks at? I gotta be able to create a border. Then I put all the intricate pieces on the inside. But I need a thick border first." Well, I don't have these bricks. I don't have the small ones. I can't, because you don't know what these crazy owners are gonna do. You saw what just happened in Buffalo. They giving a press conference and the owner just interjects himself in the press conference. He got Jerry Jones disease. And he said the most outlandish, crazy shit I've ever heard in my life. You are ripping your first round draft pick wide receiver. Now, granted, he has had his share of troubles. But what you don't want to do is throw the young man under the bus after he had a pretty good game in the playoffs for you. He threw him all the way under the bus and then reversed back and ran over him again. I said, damn. But for what though? Like, what was the purpose of it? Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, what? And this is why I say every time Jerry Jones speaks, then you got this idiot. When Irsay used to say some of the stuff this is why I say Jeffrey Lurie is one of the best owners in the business. Period. And it ain't got nothing to do with how much money he makes. Jerry Jones will always win that title. Jerry Jones down there with the Cowboys and that circus makes more money than anybody else in the league. So if that's what you want to do, you go ahead and do that. But as far as being the gold standard, like that's the buzzword that everybody used. They want to be the gold standard in the league, and the things that Jeffrey Lurie has done and the experience that we got and everything that Howie Roseman went through back when Chip Kelly was here, all that leads to the same place. And it's not like Jeffrey Lurie hasn't made any mistakes. But like I say all the time, there are lessons in loss. And it seems like we are one of the few organizations that learn from the lessons. In my opinion, I think Indianapolis is getting there. Because now you got a woman. Everybody don't want the woman to be in charge anyways. But now you got a woman. Here's the key. You got a woman that knows what she don't know. She knows what she don't know. So what is she doing? She got her headphones on. She keeps it quiet on the sidelines. She say what she got to say behind closed doors the way it should be. She ain't trying to steal the attention. She down there keeping quiet, listening to, she finding out how the sausage is made. She taking her notes, everything she got to do. She's learning the game. She's learning how to watch the game. She's learning how to be a good GM. The problem is 90% of these men don't want to do that. Men with money like this, with billionaires like this, they put the bike together by looking at the box. What's up, Dre Day? I appreciate you, man. That's what's up. Dre Day became a member of the squad. I appreciate you, brother. But all of these owners think they're the smartest guys in the room, and they are not. And you got this woman out in Indianapolis that's showing people how to do it. You don't have to make moves and be the loudest person in there making the moves. Sit back in the cut, take your notes, make sure you know what you're talking about before you act. She rewriting the whole game. And it's still going to be a bunch of these old fogey stogie men that's going to swear up and down she don't know what she doing. She don't know what she talking about. She, all right. All right. They was playing pretty well until she lost her quarterback. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. We in a good position. The I don't think what we need at offensive coordinator is as complicated or difficult as people want to make it out to be. I think people are making more of it because our media wants to make a big deal. And you know how a lot of Philadelphia fandom get. If we're not the lead story, we mad at it. If they're not talking about us, well, they disrespecting us. If we ain't at the top of the list, it's just more, no one likes us and we don't care. All of that type of stuff. And at the end of the day, it don't matter because at the end of the day, it's only going to come to fruition after week 5 next year. Because by that time, whoever we get, we're going to find out what we got. And we going to be happy with it or we going to be mad at it, one way or the other. What if Jeffrey and Howie are implementing a 3-year mandatory clause for the OC? We hear they get the full autonomy, but what if the turnoff besides the AJ Brown potential? I don't know. It all depends on who you get. All depends on who you get. If they want to trade, if they want Hurts and to trade Allen, you mean AJ Brown? Unless we get your absolute finest, you don't get ours. If they want to trade Hurts and to trade Allen, are you talking about a trade between Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts? Who said that? Who proposed that? And why would they do that? Why would they make a trade when you just fired your coach because of your quarterback? Why would you now you going to trade him? Nah. Listen, don't get it twisted. Phillip Rivers came back because he got 10 kids and this was the last year of his NFL insurance. Don't get it twisted, bro. That joker got 10 kids and no insurance. That insurance was about to run out. Let me play for a couple games and re-up. He better sign that booth deal, be on the Fox telecast and make that check. Listen, man, I said this the other day. The times I've had to be a coordinator, and I'm just talking my experience when I was coaching kids. Even with coaching kids, when you got stuff going at you like this, and you still gotta manage, you supposed to be in and you supposed to be in, and who's on punt team? Well, he was on punt team, but he got hurt when he was playing on offense. So who's his backup? Well, his backup's in there right now. So has anybody told him he's got to go in on punt team? And it's so many things going like this. It's hard to keep up with. So if you are not a CEO coach and you one of them coaches that want to call plays and do all that other kind of stuff, you got to have the team around you has to be on point. Has to be on point. Why you think Kansas City just got Eric Bieniemy back? They trying to get back to what it was. And everybody said, "Oh, Eric Bieniemy ain't calling the plays. He ain't doing this. He ain't doing that." If he wasn't doing all of that, why would they bring him back? He must have been doing something of value. When am I coming back? I'm out of shape, dog. If I come back now, they're gonna move me a defensive end, bro. I'm damn near rocking 260, bro. I need to get in the back and jump some rope or something. I need to be doing the Tai Chi like they say in all these viral videos. uh, I know Andy Reid runs the offense, but don't think for a second Eric Bieniemy doesn't know what he's talking about. Don't think that for a second. No, I don't think Howie Roseman is not trading AJ Brown for peanuts. That ain't gonna happen, bro. That ain't gonna play. That ain't gonna happen. Uh Natariu, that's a good question. That's a good question. It must be a reason. And guess what? How difficult is it going to be next year because you don't even know what you're going to have as far as a quarterback. So we'll see. But it is what it is. I'm not worried no more. We're going to get who we get. It's going to play itself out one way or the other. But one thing that I want people to realize, and people will forget, but next year, watch all of these new hires that everybody got. And let's see how fast everybody gets back to where they want to be. It's not easy. It's not easy. What is Daboll gonna teach Josh Allen? Sean McDermott had it better than Brian Daboll did. So the question is Brian Daboll gonna do better than Sean McDermott was doing? Him, Daboll, and the new head coach? People gonna be. You talking about pressure? Buffalo about to open a new stadium. Y'all can mess around and screw things up if you want to. And when folks don't show up at the new stadium, y'all gonna have a big problem. Big problem. So, but in any case, it's all good. It's all good. Don't be worried. I'm not worried. I'm not worried. We gonna get who we get, and they are either. I'll be worried. See me in week 6 next season, and then I'll tell you if I'm worried or not. Because by then, we'll be able to know what kind of coordinator we have. Are we going to take advantage of the people on offense that we have? We'll be able to know fairly quickly, but you know how I do. Got to give it at least 4 weeks. Going into week 5, you know what kind of team you have. Everybody's seen you on film. Everybody knows you. Now you got enough film to say, okay, this is what they normally do on 3rd and 5, 3rd and 8. This is what they normally do on 2nd and 2, 2nd and 3. Different things like that. Everybody got film on you, so you can really see what you got. Doesn't matter who's guarding here. Doesn't matter who's guarding Devontae. Devontae's beating everybody. He's our number 1 now. You know, you gotta you'll know. You'll know. So it's not a guarantee, but it's not a guarantee that that won't happen either. So it's all about doing what you got, understanding your pluses and minuses, and can we win the personnel battle? And not for nothing, let's just not overlook the fact that is our offensive line going to be better next year than it was this year? And that does not seem like it's hard to do. But we got to wait through this whole offseason to see what's going to happen. So we'll find out. We'll find out. But don't worry about it. We're going to learn today. But all right, man, I'm about to get up out of here. Um, good show tonight, man. Appreciate all y'all, man. Numbers is growing. I'm still trying to get break my record. The what I'm trying to do is get consistently. Right now, I'm consistently at like 50 people in the chat, which is good because I remember the days when I was getting like 10 to 15. So every victory is a small victory is a victory to me. So, but the goal is to get to the point where I got 100 plus viewers every time I stream. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Question. I meant to put this in the chat. Is it the 9:30 time? I went 9:30 because I didn't want to be online late. But is the 9:30 thing good? Is the 9:30 thing good? Like this time, I'm trying to really be conscious of the times because I know I normally go to 10:30 because we got some people on the West Coast where later is better. But I kind of like 9:30 because that way when I get done, my wife ain't giving me dirty looks because I haven't said hi to her since 8:30, 9 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Dre Day, do that live video, bro. Do it. What you waiting for? What you waiting for? You like late? I know you like late night, Chris. So, thank you, Tiff. Thank you. 10:30. I know the West Coasters want 10:30. I'm tempted to move it. Like I like 9:30, 10. So I don't know. I might leave everything alone. So, because you know what? this was 9:30 and I'm hitting like 51-ish in the 50s, which is pretty good. Good average. But I'm trying to get that rushing average up. I want 100 yards a game, man. Trying to get to 100 yards a game. So I'm trying to play around and figure out where we are with it. Hopefully next week, I'm gonna go ahead and put it out there so it'll force me to work on it. Hopefully I'll get the new theme song out, get that ready to go, get a new video, because this will be we coming up on our last week as defending Super Bowl champions. In 2 weeks we will have a new champion, and our reign will be over. So yeah, Tiff, got to make Mama happy. You know how it go. So I'm gonna get up out of here. Great show tonight. I appreciate everybody. You know the rules. I will be here next time. Check my social media. Check my Twitter feed, my X feed, or to see me on Instagram. I got to start like regularly putting up the times. I'm gonna do it, and I'm trying to be consistent across the board. So I think by the end of this month, I'm gonna be like, all right, this is what it's gonna be. Period. So. But yeah, let me know how everything is. If you're on the East Coast, batten down the hatches because this storm is coming. Definitely hit the like button, AJ. I appreciate that. And I'm still working with Streamlabs. Finally had the one alert pop up, which is good. So seems to be working. So, but I'm gonna get up out of here, man. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good night. Y'all be safe. Anybody that's getting hit with this big storm coming through, y'all be safe. And I will check y'all tomorrow. All right.